Okay, in this lesson we're going to go back to solving equations. So we have done some solving equations in Unit 9. If you remember, the two main things we want to focus on is if you want to eliminate a term, we're going to do the opposite. So we're going to do the inverse operation. And the second thing is whatever you do on one side, you want to do the same thing on the other. So we're going to do the same thing on both sides. So that's basically how we solve equations. We inverse any operation and we do the same thing on both sides. So the first thing I want to do is remove brackets. If there are brackets, we want to remove them by distributing the 2 across both terms. So 2 times x and 2 times 1. Okay, so once we distribute those brackets, we don't need the brackets anymore. So we've got 2x plus 2 equals 8. We want to solve for the variable. Sometimes we say isolate the variable, which means get it by itself. So because we have a plus 2, we want to do the inverse, which is minus 2, and we want to do the same thing on the other side. So plus 2 minus 2 is 0, and 8 minus 2 is 6. You can also think of it this way. Some students like to say, well, I'm going to get the 2x by itself. I'm going to move the plus 2 to the other side. So any term I move across that equal sign, it's going to be the opposite. So if it's plus 2 on the left, it's going to be minus 2 on the right. 8 minus 2 is 6. So both ways, if you think of it as subtracting 2 on both sides or moving the 2 to the other side, which means it's the opposite, both work. Then we want to isolate for x. Since it's multiplied by 2, we're going to divide by 2. And whatever we do to one side, we're going to do the same to the other. So 2 divided by 2 is 1x, and 6 divided by 2 is 3. So the value of our variable is 3. And then we can do a left side, right side check to see if we are correct. So when we do a left side, right side check, we write the original question. And we are going to substitute in our answer. So we are not solving, we are checking. Okay, so we are checking, not solving. So I think that x is 3. So I'm going to put in a 3 for the x. All right, so I'm checking this x. I think it's 3. 3 plus 1 is 4. 2 times 4 is 8. Left side equals right side. My answer is correct. So I'm checking my answer. I'm not solving it again. Okay? All right, so these are sort of the steps when we have more than one thing to do. So distributive property means that we want to multiply out any brackets. So we do have a set of brackets. So we'll do 2 times 3 is 6 times x. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. That bracket is finished, so we just have a plus 6. The 2 does not belong to the 6 because there is a plus sign in between. So once the bracket's finished, you're done with the 2. Then we want to simplify each side by combining like terms. So I see that the negative 8 and the 6 are like terms. So I'm just going to write it down here. So negative 8 plus 6 is negative 2. Okay, so I'm expanding like brackets. I'm collecting any like terms. So this really just simplifies it by just tidying up a little bit by combining any terms that we can. Now we want to isolate for the variables. So we have a minus 2. So I'm going to move that minus 2 across the equal sign. So minus 2, if it goes to the other side, becomes a plus 2. And then 10 plus 2 is 12. And then I want to isolate for 6. It is 6 multiplied, so I will divide by 6, divide the other side by 6. 6 divided by 6 is 1, and 12 divided by 6 is 2. So this is my solution. I'm going to do a left side, right side check to see if I'm correct. So we're going to use the original question. So that is the original question. We think x is 2, so I'm going to put a 2 in for this x. 3 times 2 is 6 minus 4. 6 minus 4 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 6 is 10. Left side equals right side. It is correct. Okay, so here is a few questions from page D3 that you should be working on. So let's try the first one. We will expand brackets. So 2x, 2 4s are 8. We will move this minus 8 to the other side so that we get the x by itself. So minus 8 is going to become plus 8. And 10 plus 8 is 18. We want to isolate for x, so we will divide by 2, divide the other side by 2, so x equals 9. Okay, let's try the next one. I think I'll skip the next one. Let's try so you can do this one. I'll skip over. We're not going to do them all. You can try some of them. Okay, so here we're going to expand brackets. Negative 2 times negative 3 is positive 6. Negative times a negative 2 is a positive 2, and then we have a y. Because I want to get the y by itself, I'm going to move the 6 to the other side. So positive 6 would become negative 6. So 7 minus 6 is 1. And then we're going to divide by 2 because we have 2y, so we'll divide by 2. So y equals 1 over 2. All right, so we did that one. Okay, let's do the next one. Put a line here. So we've got 9 minus 1 minus 7x minus 4 equals 5x. So before I start isolating, I'm going to collect like terms. Because I see we have a negative 7x. We could add 9 minus 1 is 8. 8 minus 4 is 4. So I'm going to combine those numbers to get one number. This one has variables on both sides. So you can choose to put the x's on the left, or you can choose to put them on the right. I'm going to put these x's over to that side. So minus 7x is going to become plus 7x. 5 plus 7 is 12x. We want x, so we'll divide by 12 and divide the other side by 12. X equals 4 divided by 12. If we reduce that, it would be 1 over 3. Okay, so that one's done. I'm going to skip down to the last one. The other two you can try. Okay, so we're going to expand brackets. So 2 times p, 2 times 1, 3 times p, and 3 times negative 1. Okay, so we have variables on both sides and we have numbers on both sides. So we have to put the variable p on one side and the numbers on the other. So I'm going to put this 2p on this side, which means I'm going to put the 3 on that side. So 2p comes to the right, so now it is minus 2p. Negative 3 comes to the left, so now it's plus 3. So we get 5 equals p, and then we are finished. The other two you can try on your own. These are from the guide, so the answers are in the back, and you can check to see if you're getting them correct. And you can try this one and this one, and then check your answers in the back of the guide. Okay, let's try these last two. So looking at this question, I see some like terms I could collect right away. They're on the same side. So 7 minus 3 is 4. Then I want to move this 5 to the other side. So plus 5 will become minus 5. So 7 minus 5 is 2. We want x by itself, so we'll divide by 4. Do the same on the other side. So 2 over 4 reduces to 1 over 2. Okay, and let's do this last one. Okay, so remove brackets. 2 times x, 2 times 13, 3 times 5, and 3 times negative x. Okay, so expand brackets. Then we want the variables on one side, the numbers on the other. So I'm going to put this to the left, which means I'm going to put that one to the right. So 2x, we're going to bring over the minus 3x, so it becomes plus 3x. We have a 15 on the right. The positive 26 is going to come over, so now it's minus 26. So remember the sign changes. 2x plus 3x is 5x. 15 minus 26 is negative, what's that, 11. And then we'll divide by 5. So x is negative 11 over 5. It doesn't have to be a whole number. It can be a fraction. Okay. And then I think, nope. So any questions we didn't do, you can try. So we did these two. These are all from the guide.